everybody, it's Kilobat here. Today I am changing the front brake pads on a 2005 Mazda MPV, and this is a short video, hopefully short, on how to do so. Some things you're going to need, it's like rags. You're going to need a 17 mil socket and wrench, of course. I suggest a six-sided socket. This is a 12 and it's a 3/8 inch wrench, and I did get it to work, but these things are in really tight. At least, well, this van has 110,000 miles on it, and it's obviously, if you do the math on the dates, 11 years old. These bolts did not want to come out. As such, you're going to need some rust penetrant. That is penetrant, not just WD-40. You will want some WD-40 later, and I'll show you why. You're going to need a couple clamps, 4-inch or so. These worked well for me, and I have that for some woodwork. You're going to need some grease, possibly a couple flathead screwdrivers. Probably need a hammer, help get those bolts out, and the brake pads. So let's go under the hood and let me show you something. So here is your brake, your master cylinder. It's down here. Here's your reservoir. You'll see I have this loose. Clean this off before you pull it off, before you remove it. And I have this on but loose because it's a little breezy. I don't want dirt and dust to go in there. If you'll look on the side where it says max here, what happens is when you change your brake pads, you got to compress the calipers. That's going to put give you less capacity in the system for the fluid, so your fluid's going to go up in here. Once we're done, we'll check it and see how, make sure it's not too high. If it is too high, you'll want to use like a syringe or something to pull some out. Be aware, brake fluid is will remove paint, so don't get it on your paint. So as far as safety, real quick, yes, you see I have a jack stand, or a jack stand, a jack. I also have a jack stand, and make sure that you use jack stands. As if you jack stands are what keeps your vehicle from falling. Jacks just raise it, so be careful. One of the things you'll want to do after jacking it up and getting your tires off, use your penetrant spray. Pull the rubber boots here back. You'll hopefully be able to see there's a little ridge on this pin bolt. Pull the rubber boots back over that and spray penetrant on this side of it. You can see your threads are on this side. Same over here. You want to spray it right here, and then I take a hammer and I tap. After spraying it, I take a hammer and I tap. Don't hit it, just tap it. The idea is to try to get some vibration in there, to try to break it loose. Same for this one here. And you would tap it. Now, I've already broken these loose, but I'll show you what I had to do to make it work. Alright, hopefully I can keep this in the screen. So you've got the wrench. Make sure you're turning it the right way. On the rider's side, you will turn down, okay? But they're so tight, I had to take my wrench on here, pull this way on it with some pressure going down, and you'll first few times you hit it, you'll know why. But keep this flat against it. That's what'll, if you don't, you're going to strip it. Then you take, and I actually find you could, if you're good, yeah, just whack on it right like so. If you're not so good and you got a half, decent hammer that's not going to just fall apart, I find that I catch it like so, and that is I was able to get enough force, and I mean you got to hit it pretty good, but again, keep this flat. If you do start rounding it, you need to move it a different place and then keep doing it. On the bottoms, started like so, hitting down, and you can't see that. Started like here and was hitting down. And this one, it was wanting to rotate because I just got the 12. I need 6 is much better. And so I ended up moving it down here, again pushing pressure, and then hitting it like so until it broke loose. So these are loose. That'll be the biggest challenge of this whole job, is getting those loose. Now, so next step, got these things loose, you're gonna unscrew them. I won't waste your time showing you that. Hopefully you saw what I was, pulling the bolt. Alright, so there's a lot of glare, sorry. So when you finish unscrewing, they're not going to just screw all the way out. They're going to screw, there's grease in here. These are pins, and you'll see when I get these off. So once you get this where it's no longer unscrewing, you just pull it out. There will be suction. See how it just wants to pull back in? Just pull it out. Pop. Hopefully you heard that. And you'll see there's just a little bit of grease left on the end of that one. Same with the bottom. That one did not pop, but like I said, they're pins. They're bolt pins. So the top one is larger than the bottom one, for reference. So lay those to the side. Now the centerpiece. Oh, and when you spray these, don't get it all over. Try to keep it off of everything you don't need it on, and you only need it on the bolts. So we're gonna wiggle a little bit. It will pop out. It's being held by this brake hose that holds your fluid. You'll see this is a twin piston front brakes. What you're gonna do is set it like so. Make sure it doesn't fall and put pressure on this hose. Also, go ahead and dry. I'm not sure that's in the screen. Go ahead and dry any excess penetrant that you had that was still on it. So here's your shoes. And these come out. They don't come out this way, they come out towards you for the inside one. And be aware, there's a clip here, and there's a little metal clip right here. Don't mangle those. A tip on your brake shoes, as an airplane flies over. A tip on your brake shoes. If you buy aftermarket like I did, you're not going to get new clips. It's not that big of a deal for me. I am going to reuse these. Mine are not broke. If you buy from Mazda, you will get new clips. So your choice. Also on the type of brake shoes, again, this van has 110,000 miles on it. These are the original ceramic brake shoes. They could have went possibly another 10,000, right? I mean, they're not that bad. But the better ceramic is better than semi-metallic. Semi-metallic is better than organic. And just be aware, you get what you pay for. So on these clips, go ahead and if you got compressed air, go ahead and blow those out. They'll have some dust and stuff. Blow them out, but make sure you don't mangle them. You will need these. You'll want these at least to help control some of the sound. If you have any sort of, wow, I'm doing horrible in this one. I try not to touch the rotor with my dirty hands, and I've managed to do so quite well. Oh well. So these are out. Next step. What we will do is we're going to look back here at the pistons. And you'll notice they stick out. Well, that's because your brake pads have worn. So what we got to do to put new, thicker brake pads in, we have to squeeze these back in. Yeah, I can't move them by my hand. That's why you need the clamps. That's why you need clamps. Let me... Alright, it looks like it's good and centered. Sorry, it's really hard. There's a lot of glare today. So what I do... Oh, and I didn't take out the back ones, did I? I'll get that in a minute. Let's go ahead and... What I do is I use an old brake shoe pad. Put it on here like so. And like I said, these work really well if you have them. One there. One there. And then start tightening them. Now I will tell you, you see this rubber here? Do not, don't pinch that. Make sure you're not going to pinch it. Now you can, what I end up doing, start squeezing one a little bit and then move to the next. Depending on what kind of clamps you have, you might be able to do both at the same time, but on these, you don't really get that great a leverage. And you just squeeze them until they're in, going back and forth, so that you keep them pretty close to even. Okay, they are now all the way in. Don't drop your calipers. Don't care about the pad, but you can see these things are all the way pushed in. And then we got a little dust in here. Knock those out. And there you go. So now that the caliper's ready. Now this is, remember I mentioned you might need a couple flathead screwdrivers. It's this back one. I had to do this. I had to do this on the other side as well. And you can. I guess one is all you have to have. Pull it out. Now on the inside pad, you will notice it's got a clip here. This clip is to make noise when it gets down to where they have to be replaced. And so you may want to reuse that clip. If you do, make sure you put it in the same location on the new pads. I'll show you that when we get to it. So what I am doing, because I sprayed penetrant in here, I didn't spray it in, okay, but I did spray it near them. What I'm going to do, just for my own personal satisfaction, just to make sure that I don't have penetrant in here, I am kind of flooding this a little bit with WD-40, splattering it all over. That way it'll kind of flush out the penetrant, hopefully. And when I did the other side, it didn't cause a chemical explosion or anything mixing those two. So I think we're okay. I think we're safe. All right. So let me get the dust from the back one. All right. And just tip, I'm working on concrete, so I'm sitting on a piece of cardboard, by the way. I find that it's a little softer. Just having that one layer of cardboard makes a big difference. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the pads back on it. So I had wore gloves, but those gloves have a lot of grease and oil and stuff that are in it. So now I got rid of my gloves because I don't want to get grease and stuff on the pads. So let's see. Front pad is really easy. You just take it, slide it in the bottom, get it inside both tabs. Make sure you don't ruin the tabs, and then boom, that's it. Nothing to it. The back is just as easy, but it's in the back. So you'll notice, in case you didn't notice, I have the wheel turned towards the direction I'm working on, so that helps, gives me better access to the back here. So what I'm doing now is I have this. I'm gonna pop this off carefully, like so. Paying attention to how I'm holding the brake pad. No, it's a pad. Now with the new one, I'm going to put it right back, the exact same spot on the new pad. Now this one, I will tell you, doing the back again is a little more tricky because you got this extra thickness here, and you can't see obviously as well trying to get them in the clips. But it's the exact same process as the front. You just don't have as nice of a view. And again, you don't want to ruin your clips. So have patience. It will eventually go in. All right. Clip feels good. Clip feels good. There. Okay, so next, take said caliper, and we're going to put it back on. Now be careful when you're sliding this back on, because you got these dust boots, and you want to push those in. They're like so, that way, whoops, because you got to put that bolt pin through, and you don't want to have to replace your dust boots. So there's that. All right, now we get to get dirty. If you're not ready, we have our bolt pins, and I am wiping the bolt pins off and getting any old grease off of it. And the reason why is because we're going to put new grease on it. So try to have fairly clean hands. Grab some grease, put on the pin like so. Again, the thicker one is on the top, and you will slide this in. It's gonna make a mess. That's the nature of grease, it seems. But try to slide it in. It's got suction, so you're forcing some of the old grease out. And slide it. All right, so now it's where it's at a thread. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom. Again, put some fresh, clean grease on it. It doesn't need too much, but the idea is to keep this from corroding. If this starts corroding, it's a pin because it's got a slide. If it starts corroding, it will not slide, and you will have one brake pad only touching the rotor as they wear. That's a bad thing. So we put the bottom one in. Alright, so now I'm going to take, again, you're going to have some spray, some be squeezed out. Go ahead and don't let any of that fall into your good grease. So now I'm going to tighten, I'm going to snug this up. So I'm now in the van, it is running, and what you're going to want to do is pump your brakes slowly until you start getting, you'll be able to feel pressure as you push down. Theoretically, you did not get air in your brake system, so theoretically you don't need to bleed them, but it never hurts. but I've now pumped it a few times. I'm going to get out and remember the reservoir. I'm going to check the level in the reservoir. Alright, hopefully this will show up. You see where it, remember how it was at max? It's now up, actually, all the way to here. And if you look in, you will see it. You can see the fluid in there. What that means is I have too much fluid. So, I have two choices. Again, I can use like a syringe or like a turkey baster or something like that to suck some brake fluid up. Or I can bleed them. Your choice. Whatever you do, be sure you keep the fluid clean. If you decide to bleed, this right here is the bleed. I don't even know what you call them. That's the fitting though for bleeding. And the process, I'm not going to do this, but I'll tell you the process. What you'll do is have the vehicle running, have someone in it. You will then turn this loose, have someone push down on the brake and hold it down, and fluid will spray out, so have something to catch it. With them keeping the pedal down, you'll then tighten it again. They can then let up. That keeps you from sucking air in. And you just keep doing that till you don't have any more air. And you do both sides on the front and same on the back. That's how you bleed. If you think you have air in your system, if your pedal is sponging, that type of thing, you'll want to bleed. But again, theoretically, no air got in here. So that's how you do the front. I'll do another video on the backs. They're similar, but there you go. Got any questions? Feel free to ask in the comments. If I don't know, hopefully someone else will. And if it was helpful, please subscribe, like, comment, and good luck on yours.